Hi guys, so playing LSD Dream Emulator again, and I found this one which is really interesting, sort of interactive. So this guy shoots this guy, and then he turns and shoots you, which is probably the most interaction I've seen with a character so far. It doesn't matter where you go. If you walk towards him, he shoots you. If you walk to the side of him, he shoots you. And this took me to an area I don't think I've been before, which is quite good. Because I was getting... The reason why I haven't recorded it a lot is because it was getting a little repetitive even for me. I just ended up in the same places with nothing particular going on. Saw the grey man a couple of times, but apart from that, nothing super particular is going on. It's a shame you can't jump, because some of these other things look quite interesting. So, yeah, I'm trying to sort of save every now and again, and then only record stuff that is interesting rather than 15 minutes of me basically going through a plain world. Because I know obviously for people who don't have this game, they want to know what all the fuss is about from the creepy perspective, not necessarily the perspective of walking through boring scenes with nothing happening. So I'm trying to sort of pick what I show you rather than recording everything. That's the most interesting thing that's happened in the last couple of dreams. So I thought I'd do 15 minutes now just for the sake of it. Oh, this is really annoying because you're somewhere, I don't quite know where I am, if I'm on the top of a building or something. But if you take a step forward or a step back, you just fall and wake up from your dream. So obviously that was quite a downer, because to sort of be shot and then wake up and then fall off a building is probably quite traumatic as far as dreaming goes. And now also got the flashback mode. I've not explored it yet, so let's have a look. It happened I think after 38 days maybe, so around that mark. And supposedly it recreates dreams you've already had, I think. I don't know whether it's the last dream you've had and what happens if you change that path. Oh. So I just thought I'd pause it and just sort of play a little bit through that level, because like I said, I don't really want to show you nothing. I've seen those before like 5 or 6 times, those jumping baby looking things and these marching things as well. But I've got to be honest, after a rather plain area, it's quite interesting to see something move. I'm still in flashback mode, by the way, so I think it just shows you what you've seen and doesn't really go beyond anything else, so I'll probably end this in a minute and go back to a dream. I'm not quite sure how to do that actually. I think it must end of its own accord, because when you pause it there's no menu and I'm not going to restart it, so yeah, so there may be occasional sort of moments where I pause it and then come back abruptly, but God, I hate these baby things. What are they? Yeah, you may have not seen this location with such weird... I think it's quite cool, such weird textures to it as opposed to the normal textures that were on it before. I'm just going to throw myself off here so I can go back to the menu. Right, so I'm going to go into a normal dream now. I don't really understand flashback mode, but it doesn't really seem particularly interesting, so... Right. So I can once I've not started in that house. Yeah, I remember these weird things as well. A giant ball on Minotaur sort of thing. Both of them are giant ball Minotaur sort of things. I saw those before. They just remind me of those, I don't know, the parade floats. There's lots of weird things in there that look a bit like that, and I don't know if that's some sort of weird Japanese thing trying to sort of represent Americanism. I'm not quite sure, because, you know, a lot of this stuff is sort of Japanese surroundings. It's a weird noise. Oh, look! I'd really like to know if there's anything significant about choosing, you know, to walk into a particular character. It makes me seeing what they dream, or, you know, what is going on there. I mean, I know it's sort of dreaming, you know, it's just not meant to make much sense, but it'd be nice if you made a little more, if I'm just sort of missing out on something. I don't know, I don't know why a giant buffalo would dream of landmarks anyway. Or whether it's just a sort of trippy excuse. Let's walk into this. I mean, like I said before, I think I've said it before, if anybody knows of any sort of significance of walking into certain things, if you found a pattern, if you understand what the up and down a bit means when the dream's over, you have to sort of achieve ultimate down, ultimate up, ultimate static, ultimate whatever, let me know. I mean, the game gets a little tedious after a while, because you do end up seeing a lot of the same scenery, and you can go an entire good couple of dreams without actually seeing anything else moving, just having boring landscapes. I've been chasing this sound for a while, let's see if we can find it this time. It's gone. No, it's not still there. I think this noise always appears in this level. But noise generally means there's something around, like the Minotaur last time. I swear that eye wasn't there a second ago. Oh! She wasn't there a second ago either. That's a bit grim. So that's probably the second most disturbing thing that's happened to somebody else in the video game, because you had the guy on this particular scenery seems to have the most disturbing stuff happening, which is why it's quite nice in a way if you've been quite bored, if you sort of get to this area in your dream, because you're almost guaranteed to see something disturbing. So on this we saw the guy lying in the road, I've seen the car being driven into the river. That wasn't particularly grim, you didn't see anything, but it just was, you know, there. And obviously now we've got the woman who's hung herself. She's still there? I can't see her now. Is she here? My search direction's awful even in video games because I don't remember where she was. I swear she was there. She was near the eye, wasn't she? She's... God, it's awful. There we go. The eye was there, wasn't it? No, it still is there. It's just higher up. It's there. Which means she was... Oh, I can't see her. But it sounds like a road, doesn't it? It sounds like a road around a lamppost, so... It's weird you can still hear it, but you can't see her. Which always makes it wonder if it's the game glitching just with bad pixels, or if you're not meant to be able to see her. It's interesting. There's another eye. I wonder if that noise means there's an eye. Oh, no, just graffiti this time. Yeah, so we saw the guy lying in the road. I've seen a car going to this bit of the river twice, and obviously this level is actually darker. I have also seen this level with different textures, so it's not sort of unique in not being able to change textures either. I was reading again about the creepypasta because I never really read it properly. I sort of glanced at it and looked it up to see if it was a real game. Found it was a real game and then got totally distracted by the real game. So I was looking at the myth, the urban legend creepypasta surrounding this, which is about the Grey Man and the fact that this game changes textures. So you would have seen throughout the gameplay that you go to one area and it has certain textures and you go to another, and if you end up back in the same location it sometimes will have changed textures. And the sort of the creepypasta around this, what people don't know, is that one day this guy was playing it and Grey Man appeared, transported him somewhere else, which does happen sometimes when the Grey Man appears, and the textures were of torture. It was like something mutilating themselves and dead people and stuff. And I can see from a few, from the change of texture in general, but I can see why people would think that is a possibility. Because sometimes when the texture changes, it's real photos. So that's my dream over. But sometimes when the texture changes, it's real photos of like faces and stuff, and because of the way they're wrapped around walls and all that sort of stuff, it's quite sort of obscure about what's going on. So I can see why somebody would think it was A, pornographic, or B, torture material, but so far I've been playing this game for a few hours. Oh look, there's a Grey Man. I've been playing the game for a few hours and I've not seen any textures which sort of allude to porn or torture, but I can see where there is confusion there. I can see where an urban legend would be born that, you know, you can see these textures. It's totally a feasible thing because it's not like the game doesn't even have that possibility. The game does change textures. The game does become rather sort of disorientating when it changes to, you know, photograph textures because, you know, they look weird when they're on the floor and stuff. But I can tell you that the urban legend so far hasn't come true, and it's not why I downloaded the game. I downloaded the game because when I found it and found out it was real and it's up on YouTube, it looked quite interesting. And it looked like it was a lot sort of something to distract me from proper video games like Left 4 Dead and things like that, which is what I normally play. So I just wanted a little bit of a change, and you know, to me this is like playing Pokemon. It doesn't require a whole lot of thought, doesn't really have a proper end goal, you just sort of around until it's done. I mean, I've made it my goal now to get all those squares filled at the end of Dream Screen, which I assume is possible. Oh yeah, the sumos. There's normally 2 of them here, and then there's sometimes 2 monster-looking people instead. It's a little bit strange. And I'm back here again, which is probably a good place to leave it, sort of almost where we started. I noticed that the moon and the sun changes a lot as well, which is quite interesting. So far it's been quite a little fun exploration. I'll only put up videos if anything interesting happens, like that shooting I thought was quite interesting, because I know people look at these videos, you know, because they're interesting, not because they want to be as bored as I am and I walk through the boring landscapes. And if I ever see proof of the creepypasta, obviously I will post it, but as far as I'm aware, bearing in mind you can get this quite easily now and a lot of people have it, as you can probably see from the other videos on YouTube. It's probably not true, but if it is, I've got the recording software, I'll save and post it on YouTube. But for now, it's just a weird, trippy little game, and I can totally see why someone would invent an urban legend for it. But that's all it is for now, an urban legend. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. Bye!